This is my amazing husband, Steve.
I like to think I'm amazing.
You are amazing. We're going through the book called The Power to Change. We're actually going through, well, first of all, if you're brand new, post new in the comments. If you're not brand new, you know a little bit about our life. And we have 4 daughters. We homeschool them. They're on the other sides of the camera laughing at us as we talk to you. So that's super fun. Yep. All right. Did you want to say something?
No, if you're brand new here, just put new down below because we'd love to be able to connect with you, find out where you're from, find out more about your goals. And I'm excited because today we're going to truly give you some info that's going to help you truly discover the path to true transformation.
Yeah. All right. We're actually going through 2 chapters, and you might be like, you've never done that before. We're going to give you an overview of 2 chapters. If you have not watched any of these lives from the book, go to KetoMomSecrets.com, click on, I think it says mindfulness. What does it actually say? Do you know? Go to KetoMomSecrets.com, scroll down. It talks of different books that we've gone through. You can watch all of the other ones that we've done. Some of you are like, listen, I just had somebody tell me this yesterday. She said, I'm not a reader, but I love listening to the lives. We don't go through the chapter by chapter, story by story, but we give you the overview. You can always listen to the book, download the Audible, right?
Go to Audible.
And so today we're going through 2 chapters, mainly because chapter 4.2 is called You in 10. And the entire chapter, he's basically saying, and he shares a ton of stories. He goes, I can predict what your life will look like in 10 years. And he's talked about this before. How? He said, all I have to do is look at your habits today, follow you for a little bit, and your habits will tell me what your future is going to look like. Yeah. We've talked about the power of consistency and small steps. So chapter 4.2 is all about the small steps every single day. He shares the story in the Bible about Nehemiah building the wall brick by brick. If you're familiar with the story, it took him a long time to do it, but it was brick by brick. And your life or your future 10 years down the road will be built with small steps every single day, right? 1 step at a time, consistent action over time, not getting lucky. You don't look at somebody's life today and you don't see all of the things they did in the past. And so that was chapter 4. So we're actually going to dive into 4.3 of sowing and reaping, which I love that conversation. Hold on.
Well, you got some good, hold on. I'd say before you do that. So he does have some things that she underlined that she didn't say yet. So your goal is not perfection, it's progress. Right. And so often in life, we just kind of either get caught up in the perfectionism trap, right, or we just think like, oh, well, I'll do this later because I don't have enough time to make it great. Right. And the reality is we just want to encourage you to not mess up good for perfect. Go for it. Right. Like no matter where you're at, go for it. You've identified who you are at this point, and now you've identified some things that you're either starting or stopping. You've written down what some victories and some wins could look like. Right. But the most important thing is to take action and don't get caught up in that perfection trap.
Right. Super good. So then in 4.3, here's how he starts the chapter. He goes, I've been saying that habits shape your life. Perhaps you've been wondering, where does God talk about this in the Bible? Right? Because this book is biblical based and what God says about you. And he uses tons of different stories, whether it's a personal story or a biblical story. And he said, actually, in Galatians, you don't see the word habits in the Bible, but here's where he talks about sowing and reaping. And he says, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Whatever you sow to pleasing their flesh from the flesh will reap destruction. Whoever sows to please the Spirit from the Spirit will reap eternal life. And then he dives into, all right, if you don't know what that means, to sow means to plant, to put seed in the ground. To reap means to gather fruit, the results of seeds planted. So he says, do not be deceived. The idea is, do not be led astray. Don't be fooled or stupid. And so I underline a ton of this because I actually love the sowing and reaping. And basically think about your habits and what you reap, you sow. So he gives illustrations of like somebody comes home.
What you sow, you reap. So
they sit on the couch. They're eating bags of potato chips. They're not going to the gym. And then in 30 years,
yes, let's make this practical.
In 30 years, they're not going to have the body they want. Or I'm just going to say in 1 year. It's like if you decide like, or maybe you're looking at your life today and you're like, I don't know how I got here. How did I get here?
How did I get here? She's been doing 99% of the talking. What?
I know.
This is great. She's fired up. Sowing and reaping. I feel like I'm a standalone. I love reading the comments. So at least for those of you who are leaving comments.
Okay, tell me what it looks practical. Like reaping and sowing. You make it practical for me.
Well, you use the example of eating bags of potato chips, right?
Well, if somebody says today, I don't know how I got here, how would they figure that out?
So here's a good test. Jump up in the air, and when you land, how long does it take for the jiggling to stop? Okay, so that could be a reality for some people. And if that's the reality, let's just say that right now our focus should be in the health and fitness category.
Yeah.
It's important because your body really determines how your energy levels are. It determines how you think, how you feel about yourself, how other people perceive
how you treat people.
And really it shows like where you at with stewardship with your own body. So if that's the case, let's just look at some of the habits. Stephanie, you mentioned, and the reason why I did the jumping thing is because you use potato chips. Like if you come home and you're stressed,
right,
or whenever you're stressed, if your comfort is the food, guess what? You're probably going to overeat.
Right.
And when you overeat, it gets stored as body fat. And I'm really not making light of this because it is a serious thing all over the world. Like it's an epidemic. Right. Obesity is becoming an epidemic. And I think even people being complacent with not being, like I'm not super fit. I've got a focus and an intention to become the best version of myself when it comes to my fitness. Mm-hmm. And I'm super thankful I've been able to overcome the sugar addiction. But the reality is, like, I really think when you look at food stores and restaurants and a lot of things that we kind of just take as conveniences, it's not like they're really set up to help us.
Right.
They're actually costing us.
Right.
And so I just want to, like, we want this to be an encouragement for you to take an inventory of your habits.
Right.
Take an inventory and become aware of the decisions that you make every day. Are you drinking the green colored Mountain Dew? Or are you drinking water? Are you eating the potato chips or are you getting fruits and vegetables? Are you choosing
the couch or going for a walk?
Yeah, I mean, even like processed food compared to
like a whole food.
To whole food. Right. So food is so important. And I mean, we could probably go all over the place in regards to habits, but we just want you, we want you to be aware of taking inventory for your habits.
Well, you reap what you sow. So he gave an example. He said, if you sow an apple tree, there's nobody in their right mind that would go out there and think an orange tree is going to appear.
Like an apple seed?
Like an apple seed, yes. If you're looking and you're thinking today, man, I'm not where I want to be, guess what? It has to do with you sowing and reaping. You right now have you sowed over the course of the last couple of years. And it's fine. We've talked this, like, don't beat yourself up. Don't be like, oh, I can never because I didn't do it. I'm not doing it now. It's like what Steve said. You have the awareness and now you're going to start sowing different seeds, different habits consistently over time, small actions every single day that will get you to where you want to go with a new harvest. And the harvest might not come until next year. You might not see the fruits of your labor, which is hard. So for example, yesterday, I feel like Mondays are very wildly busy, not in a bad way. We just had a lot of stuff going on. And at one point I was standing in the kitchen and I told Steve, I need another person. I need another me for just a split second, right? I was like, I need another me.
Who wants to be
Anyways, I sat down on the couch. I think I finally sat down after the entire day. I like sat down on the couch. It was like 8:05 and I was like, and I was sitting next to our daughter, Annie. And then I went, you want to know what happened? My phone reminded me to stretch. And I said on here yesterday, I'm starting a new habit because I understand the who before the do. It's part of the book. And I went, oh my goodness, I'm not sitting yet. I'm not done. Right?
So we stretched for 30 minutes.
No longer, 45. I counted it. We stretched for a long time. And we did that small scene. And you wouldn't actually know that we did that if I didn't share it in my stories, but I share everything on Instagram.
Because she believes that if it's not on Instagram stories, it's not real. It didn't happen.
It didn't count. Just kidding. More for accountability because I've told people that. I'm just saying that small little habit of stretching, I could have easily said, I did it yesterday. I'll do it tomorrow. I just started. It's not a big deal. I actually went to CrossFit yesterday and I did a light workout and my back is even feeling better. So it would be easy for me to start feeling better and then go, I don't think I need to do that.
I mean, you could take what we just talked about, like not messing up good for perfect, and the perfection is not found. Like progress doesn't have to equal perfection.
Right.
When you went to CrossFit yesterday, you didn't lift the heaviest weights that you could.
Right.
You showed up.
Right.
You did your best, and look at it paid off. So I'd love to know in the comments down below, what are some habits or some awarenesses that you're kind of processing through? Like things that you could either, if I could take this and swap it for this, or if I could take this and do that, what would be some of those things? We'd love to see the comments on that. And then if you're like, I really don't even know, I don't know what I can do to replace some of these bad habits.
Right.
It's okay. Send us a message.
We'll give you some ideas.
And we'll walk through it. We'll kind of talk through it. And we'll come up with a game plan.
That's good. I mean, the whole chapter is about, if you don't like what you're reaping, change what you're sowing. If you don't like the harvest, change the seed. I feel like it's, I don't like to use the word common sense, but in general, you have an awareness of, oh shoot, I am where I am today because of the seeds I planted. I can change where I'm going to be in the future if I change the seeds, if I change the habit. And it's not overnight. Actually, our daughter and I were relaunching another podcast that we started, and we talked about this. We talked about the microwave instant society of people wanting to get results overnight, of these teenagers wanting an answer overnight. We talked about it, so be watching because we'll be launching the podcast today, right? Anyways, so any thoughts for them?
I just need your computer, Mom. Yeah. That's what I need. I need your computer.
Any thoughts before you want to
go? Thank you, everybody, for the comments. That's amazing. No, I mean, my comment would be is it matters. Like your decisions matter. Your choices matter. You're going to end up somewhere. I would love to see you end up somewhere on purpose, not just because of haphazardly making poor choices. And the reality is, if you've made a series of poor choices and you're not liking, like if you jumped and you're still jiggling right now, if you don't like that feeling, or if you're choosing to drink the bad drinks or choosing the bad food, don't destroy your future by beating yourself up about the past. Like, let today be that day where it's a break-free moment. It's a clean slate moment. Let the past be the past and let the future be the best. So that's what I would encourage you on, is to really renew your mind, renew your thinking, know that you're worth it, know that your past does not define your future. And maybe because of your past, you have to work through some things, and maybe it's not going to happen overnight. But if you can start the progress, if you can start the steps, if you can take the action today, like that chapter we talked about, in 10 years, you will be in a far better place than if you say, I'll just do it later. That's what my encouragement would be for you today.
So good. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Your presence matters. Thank you for commenting. Reach out with any questions that you have. Go grab the book, download the book, listen to us share about the book on ketomomsecrets.com. Otherwise, have an amazing day, and we'll see you later.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Appreciate you.